great season so far. I think sitting 8th in the championship.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So far we're 8th in the championship. I think after the very first race we're like 16th or 17th, so we've like crawled our way back into the top 10. So yeah, it's all looking really good. I suppose our goal at the start of the year was to sort of finish inside the top 8. We're achieving that. We're probably going to march on a bit stronger, I think, towards the end of the year.
Now, I guess in the V8 terms, in the supercar terms, of course, I guess Erebus Motorsport look like the fun team to be with. With Betty at the helm and guys like yourself. We know from watching from the outside looking in at the supercars that you're the joker of the supercars. We are, man. You like to have a good time. And I know there's a few practical jokes go along down pit lane, but being a part of Erebus, how's that been impacting on your life?
Yeah, I suppose Erebus it's a really, really fun team. We're a serious race team, but we don't take life too seriously. We make sure we have a good laugh. Daniel, the dude on my left down here, he's the instigator of all the bad things that ever happen in the team. So make sure you go ask him for all the advice. No, but actually it's impacted my life a lot because I've never enjoyed my job driving as much as I have been with these bunch of people. And it's perfect. We're a really good fit. Betty's a good boss. She's really, really passionate about the sport and really encouraging about our results and the future, I suppose. So yeah, I'm loving it.
Now we'll get to Bono. If anybody's got a question for Dave, please go and see Bono down here. Put your arm up. He'll come over to you. Now we know that you've gone through the ranks. You've been go-karting. You've been Formula Ford. You've raced the Australian GT Championship. With the Porsches and the like. What is your favourite series as far as, I guess, the hardest to drive?
I suppose the hardest category to drive would be the category I'm racing now, supercars, because I suppose before they introduced the car of the future, those cars are the older style of cars are really hard to drive because they were a tubular diff. They weren't an independent rear end, so it was on a smaller tyre and they were really, really hard to drive. The newer ones are actually a little bit easier, and that's why everyone's a lot closer than what we used to be. And all the young kids can jump in and go fast straight away, so you don't need a lot of experience to drive them. But in saying that, they're still difficult to get the most out of it, and yeah, I love it. It's great.
You're down here, Jason and Dave, with Mandy. Mandy's got a question for you.
Yep. So if you could ask the universe anything to make your car go faster, what would you ask for?
Anything?
Anything.
All you need in motorsport is more grip and more power, and then you win races. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
How's the traffic here?
Pretty hectic.
Yeah.
Anyone else got any questions from the floor? Anyone else, just let me know.
While we look for anybody to ask Dave any of your questions now, having Penrite on board, I mean, we go back to one of your former sponsors, of course, being a bottle shop. I guess most people would love having that sort of association, but you're fairly trimmed. I wouldn't imagine you'd be smashing too much alcohol back. But talking about Penrite as a company, all Aussie, obviously, all of the development done in-house, it must be a real credit to not only obviously the supercar team, but also Penrite to supply products that enable you to go racing the way you do and keep the engines nice and safe.
So Penrite is a very, very good Australian brand, all owned, manufactured here in Australia, which is very, very rare for an oil company. But in our team, we're, I suppose, one of the only teams that use everything Penrite. Everything from the engine oil, gearbox oil, all the sprays, lubricants come from Penrite. So, put my hand on my heart, we're the only one of the teams that in pit lane that do that. So, I suppose that we support our sponsors that much that we believe in their product and we use it extensively. So, yeah, but they're a fantastic brand to be associated with. Been around for 90 odd years. A really, really fun company, kind of has a really good fit with our team because we see ourselves as the jokers and really good fun company as well, so we've got a good brand alliance there.
I've got a question for myself actually. Hey Bono. Dave, in your spare time, what do you do for fun? How do you get your kicks away from the racetrack?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Yeah. Sleep, washing, ironing, cooking, cleaning. I'm basically the house bitch.
Now I think you're still engaged, yeah?
No, I'm not engaged, no, but I've got a long-term girlfriend, yeah. I said, if you want to get married, you got to give me 2 years trouble-free.
How far you in that?
How long? Resets every couple of weeks.
Well, no firm commitment there, but certainly a firm commitment to supercar racing. I guess the next question for you is, where do you see supercars going? Totally different generation we're about to embark on. Where do you see it going from the inside? Looking out, where do you see it going?
It's a very, very funny time for our sport. To be honest, I don't really know. They're trying to introduce like the Turbo 6, and they try to introduce different manufacturers and things like that. So, it's kind of gone away from just the Holden versus Ford and V8 dominated sport. That, what we grew up with and what we know is still, Holden versus Ford and still the V8 supercars. But, the younger generation comes through aren't really emotionally attached to that as what we are, so it's probably going to go through some tough times. I think it's going to go through a bit of a change process, but it's still going to be a great spectacle to watch, because it's all the best drivers in Australia and it's all the best teams and mechanics and engineers working on the cars, so it's always going to have a really good competition aspect. It might change the engine or might change the design or something like that, but it's still going to be a fantastic sport.
Cross camera for a second there. Dave, you're hanging for our next raffle as well, right? You'll be able to our next raffle. I've got tickets here if you want to get into our next raffle at 12:30. So come and see me in the meantime as well.
They're free. They're absolutely free. So if you haven't got your tickets, do you want one? Yeah, of course. We'll give some tickets to you. You'll win your own V8 experience. Hey, how would that be? I know a question that Bono had a little earlier was, did you bring the keys with you?
The keys to what? That?
Yeah, to the supercar.
No, it actually has no keys.
There you go, Bono. No keys.
I'll be back in half an hour.
I did say though, a little earlier, I said to Bono, I think you and I would struggle to get into the seat.
Yeah, the seat's moulded for me, so it's not a very big seat.
I noticed having a look at the car earlier that there's been a lot of adjustments in the safety side of things. They've moved you guys more towards the centre of the race car, obviously for side impact, yeah?
So yeah, we do a lot of stuff for safety. So with the driver itself, we're moved as close to the centre as possible and as further back as possible we can, because they're the roll, they've got the roll hoop structure at the back, and it's also for weight distribution as well. So they say the car handles better, but I don't believe it.
Now, what's your favourite track? We know that we've got Bathurst coming up shortly. Are you a street circuit guy? Are you a professional race circuit guy? What's your favourite circuit?
Well, obviously Bathurst is our number one favourite. All the drivers say that because it's such a big sport, such a big, the historic of it and everything. It's just a really cool track, really good layout. But otherwise, I love the street circuits. I love Gold Coast, Townsville. I used to love Homebush until we're not going there this year, but we're going to Newcastle, which is going to be a brand new track, and everyone's really on board with that. Adelaide, I love Darwin. So I love a lot of tracks. Phillip Island's kind of cool. Generally the tracks I go well at I like, funnily enough.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, any more questions? Has anybody got any questions for Dave? How good is this? I mean, this weekend. In fact, all right, we've got another question.
Let's stay down here.
What round is McGregor going to knock Mayweather right in?
We might need a translator there.
Was there with a boxing question?
Probably round 3. 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Have you put your sports bet on with that?
I've already got it on.
Translation is recorded, although Dave had no problems understanding. David, he's part Irish as well, so he's got that one nailed. Hey, talking about NAPA Auto Superstore, how good is it? We've got the first Auto Superstore, NAPA Auto Superstore here in Logan City, and obviously you're a Queenslander, so aren't you? You live in Queensland though. Where are you living now? I thought you were Gold Coast based.
No, never. I've always lived in Melbourne. I was in Albury, grew up in Albury for 18 years, then I moved to Melbourne 2004, and I've been stuck there ever since.
Wow, I always thought that you were Gold Coast based.
I wish I was. I'm trying to get my girlfriend to move up here with me, but she doesn't want to.
How good's the weather?
Yeah, the weather's pretty good. What is that?
another vehicle in Logan City.
What was that?
Do you want to have a ride? I think everybody at Penrite Nervous is going negative. He is not getting onto a two-wheel cycle. Are you a motorcycle rider?
Yeah, I'm actually sponsored by Harley Heaven, which has got a couple of stores around Australia, and they give me a Harley to ride. It's lovely.
Nothing better than jumping onto a hog and going riding.
When it's winter in Melbourne, it's 6 degrees.
This is true. Hey, so Napa Auto Superstore, getting back to Napa, obviously the first store of its kind in Australia. It's a fantastic new brand to hit the country. Well known, internationally, of course, over 6,000 stores in the US. But I think it's a cool thing to have a brand new brand enter the market.
Yeah, it is for sure. And they've got a really good alliance with Penrite, and hopefully they got a good relationship and can sponsor our team for a lot longer.
Well, I know that you had the Napa bonnet on for the last round. We just saw you sign that inside.
Yeah, they said don't damage it because they want it making look pristine and whatnot, but I accidentally got caught up in someone else's accident on Saturday last week, and yeah, it's all stuffed up, but it still looks good.
Racing is racing.
Rubbing is racing, my friend.
Absolutely. All right, do we have any final questions that you would like to ask anybody down there? No? All right. Well, we might wrap this up. We've got about 10 minutes until our next draw. We'll wrap that up, get you a chance to rehydrate and maybe grab something to eat. Free sausage sizzle. We might be even able to entice you into a bit of face painting down there. It's free. And of course, we've got plenty more action and giveaways happening right here. This is the grand opening of the Napa Auto Superstore right here in Logan City.